Good morning and welcome to our webcast today. Today we talk about self-service Microsoft Teams with au2mator. Some notes at the beginning. This webcast will be recorded. If you have any questions, please type them into the chat window. I will try to answer them during the webcast. If you want to have a discussion or you want to talk with me directly, we can do this after this webcast. So just raise your hands and I will unmute your microphones. But during the webcast, just type your questions into the chat window. au2mator was founded 6 years ago, 2015, in Austria and Europe, with the idea to provide a web service, a web portal, a front end to trigger System Center orchestrated runbooks. In 2019, we enhanced our product to support and trigger 4 automation engines. So au2mator is now a self-service portal. You can trigger a PowerShell script, an Azure automation script, System Center orchestrated runbooks, or System Center SMA runbooks. 2021, we are happy to help many customers all around the globe with au2mator and to self-service their IT. The agenda for today, we take a short introduction what au2mator is or what au2mator does. Then we see a lot of demos how au2mator works with Microsoft Teams. You see a lot of showcases. And then in the end, you see the license, the return of investment. And we have time for Q&A. So how au2mator works. First of all, you need to build your automation. So au2mator provides a lot of free automation scripts for you, but au2mator itself is just a front end. So build your automation with Orchestrator, SMA, Azure Automation, or PowerShell. We need some initialized data to put in some values to the automation, and then the automation will be triggered. For example, user will be created in Active Directory or so on, and then you get the return data. Then in au2mator, create your service, connect your service to your automation, then configure your questions. So we have a lot of question types: string, integer, SQL, dropdown, LDAP query, file picker, and so on. So you're completely free how to define your service. We will see this in the demo in a few minutes. You can configure an approval workflow. So, for example, if someone requests any access to a resource, then the manager or a group of users needs to approve. So you can also build an approval workflow. And your service can be configured with the role-based access. So a bunch of services can be accessed by this group, and another bunch of services can be accessed by this group. So this can be everything configured by membership of local Active Directory groups. Then the user can start a request. If configure, he needs to wait for an approval. Otherwise, the automation will be triggered immediately, and then he gets a response back, a return data from the automation itself. And why should you do this? Because automation helps to improve and to secure. Of course, to improve, because if you automate your user onboarding or your some other tasks in your IT department, then the process will always be the same. So you improve your process that no one can do it like this way or this way. It's always be the same. And why to secure? Because you can delegate those simple steps to add users to groups, to create a team, to add members to a team, to reset the password. So no one needs to be an admin in those applications. So you don't need a domain admin. You do not need a Microsoft Teams admin. So just put in those processes or those services inside au2mator. So your end users, your service desks, your IT guys can use those services, and the tasks will be done by a service user, not by the user itself. So the user itself doesn't need any rights to do those steps into the application. And that's how you can secure. So you can reduce your domain admins, you can reduce your Office 365 admins, and so on. And of course, in this way, self-service will speed up because you can provide those informations, those services to your end users, to your service desk, to your IT guys, so they can trigger those services and it will be done nearly immediately, and you do not need to create a ticket and wait for a response and so on. And all of this, the self-service will make you and your clients and your customers and your employees happy because they can do it faster, it will be improved, and it is more secure. So we talked a little bit, and now we head over to our demo environment. So this is our demo server, and now I want just to show you how all this fits together. So we made a simple example to add a user to an Active Directory group, just to see how all this works together. So the result is, if you take a look at the service, add user to group. Give me a second. Here it is. So the result is choose a user. So that's an LDAP query picker. Choose a group. That's the same, just an LDAP query picker to provide all the groups, and add a command. If you click finish, an automation will be triggered and the user will be added to the group. Everything is documented, who has requested to add a user to a group, everything is automated, and so on. It's a simple task, but we want to take a look at how this is solved. So first of all, we need to create those PowerShell scripts in our case. It doesn't matter if you use Orchestrator, Azure Automation, SMA, or PowerShell. Every time it's the same. You need some input parameters where the questions are built, and then configure those. So our input parameters are command, group, and user. So you saw those questions here. That's rely on those input parameters. We have some built-in. Now we do some error handling and some functions, but the main part of the script is not here. It is, give me a second, it is here, add user to group. So that's the commandlet from Active Directory PowerShell, add AD group member, identity group, and see user. So that's the main part. Everything else is just send an email and some error handling and logging and so on. But that's the main part. Do your input parameters, build your automation, and then build the service. And how to build those services? It's really simple. So go to the services. We want to create a new one. This is WEBCAST. Must add user to group. WEBCAST is just in description. Then we select the service group, it's development. And then one of the most important things, we need to select the automation. So what automation we want to trigger. In our case, we want to trigger a PowerShell script. And then we click search, and that's just a file store on the Automator server. So that's the same script you saw before, a few seconds before, the add user to group. So that is that example we now select. And on the click, when we select those PowerShell scripts, those questions will be built. So we read the input parameters from the PowerShell script or from the orchestrator or Azure Automation, whatever you choose, and then you can configure your questions. So the C user parameter, so if you go just right up, that's the input parameter, C user, C group, C comment. And that's now we want to configure those questions. So we just enter a nicer name, so choose user. We select this should be an LDAP query. The query will look like object class equals user, and we want to see the name. You can configure if you can select multiple or single users. Just hit the test, and then we see all our users from the Active Directory. So you can enhance those LDAP query to hide the disabled one, or just to show specific users from a specific OU, or only users which are not already member of the selected group, and so on. So that's just keep it simple for our webcast today, and we only have 30 minutes. So now we select the enter the choose group. That's the same way. In this case, we configure an LDAP query. Our query will be object class equal group. And we also want to see the name, short test, and we get all the groups from our Active Directory. And that's it. So now save this, and the result is, as you saw before in our example, to add a user to a group. So that's the simple way. All those scripts you saw right now, or you see during this webcast, they're free on our GitHub repository. So you can download this from our GitHub and immediately start, just configure those forms and go ahead. Right now we have around 40 plus scripts. So all of them can be downloaded for free. So that's the result. So we just configured the PowerShell script, connected to Automator, build the service, and then we have a self-service to add a user to a group. Now we head over to our Teams-related tasks. So we had a few webcasts in the past. We are having a few webcasts in the future. All of them are dedicated to a specific topic. So today we talk about Teams self-service. So we created some team solution to create a team, to remove a team, to backup a team, remove owner, add remove members, and so on. So first of all, we create a new team. We want to enter the team name. It is WEBCAST 2021. teams. We use the same description. The owner should be, in this case, myself. That's an LDAP query picker to go through my Active Directory. We can select the teams option. It should be a public. You can enhance those values with all the additional team settings. So that's just an example how on a base of settings you can use. Every team setting can be handled by Grave API, what we do in the background with PowerShell. But in this case, this is enough for our example, and we want to choose those members. This will be Jasmine, and that's it. So we selected the name, the visibility, the owner, and the members, and now we click Finish. What is happening in the meantime? So in the background, we are now triggering a PowerShell script to create a Microsoft Teams. We use the Microsoft Graph API to handle this. So this is the script we use. Just take a short look into it. We just have some try catches, error handling, and so on. But in the background, we use Graph API to talk to Azure Cloud and to create the teams, add the owners, and add the members, and so on. And if everything is fine, we should receive an email and a notification that the WEBCAST 2021 Teams is created. So you see this here in my Teams client, and I also get an email as a result that the team is created. This maybe take some more seconds to receive. You also can, if a service is finished, you can receive an email, you can receive an adaptive card. You see here the examples, whatever you like. You also can take a look in the portal itself. We report back the status from the automation. So everything can be visited here. So now the email is here. So we get an email notification that the team is created. That was the parameters we entered, and it was completed and successful. We also get an email notification. Now we see those teams information, and of course we see the owner and the members we configured. So what we want to do now is to add Jasmine as an owner. So for example, start a request, remove, just let me see, I have favorited all of them. Add a team member, we select the team. So here is my WEBCAST 2021 team. We choose the member. In this case, I want to add Jasmine as not as a member. I want to add her as an owner. So now click Finish and OK. And now maybe you ask questions, why should we do this over a self-service portal? Because I can go to my teams and can add a member of this. Yes, you can, but you have a lot of customers which do not allow this. So of course, the team's creation, not everyone should create a team. So I think we are on the same page on this one. But also to add members to a specific teams, a lot of customers do not want to give away those tasks to the team owner or to anyone else to add as much as members as they can. They want to control this. And so you can use au2mator to control, add a user, remove a user. You can also do an approval between. So if someone needs to approve that the user can be added as an owner or a team member, and when we hit refresh, and maybe it can take some time to sync in Teams. No, it's already here. So Jasmine is now an owner. One more example, you also can, of course, remove a member. So if you go to our favorited services and see remove team member, I want to choose the team. It is WEBCAST 2021, and I want to choose the member, and in this case, it is Jasmine. So of course, we only get those users which are already a member of the team. So it doesn't make sense to present all the users. So in this case, we present you here all the members of the teams, and then you can trigger your service. So now Jasmine should be removed. As I said, it can take some seconds or minutes sometimes when Azure needs to sync all this information, but sometimes it's a little bit faster. Let me maybe take some time. So that's the reason why what you can do. You can also, of course, back up a team. So we also have the, let me see, the solution to back up a team's chat. So that's the same story. Choose your team, choose your additional recipients who should receive those backup files. And in the background, we made a solution to export those chat information and send an HTML file to those users via an email. So that's also a solution we provide for free. And of course, at the end, you can remove a team. So now we tested, we created a team, we changed the members and the owners. We can also remove team's owner. That's some example we didn't show. So if you want to have, no, maybe I'll take a different one. I want to have this au2mator org. I can choose, I want to remove this owner. And now I can select, do I want to keep him at least as a member? So that's just the configuration we choose for those services. But at the end, to clean up our environment, we want to remove the team itself. So remove team, need to select the WEBCAST 2021 team and hit finish. And hopefully in a few seconds, those teams should be removed. As I said, it can take some time, but it should be then gone. Yeah, it will take some time. Okay, so that's our teams related tasks. So that's just a few examples what we provide for free in our GitHub. A lot of customers enhance those scripts, do different tasks, also to change some settings. For example, to change a team visibility from public to private, also a self-service request. The idea is just to have those steps documented. So not everyone should hide a team or create a team or add members or owners to the team. A lot of customers want to have a central portal or central place where users or IT staff can trigger or request those actions. They do not want to let them do this in the team client directly, as they just want to control who is a member of the team and so on. We have a lot more possibilities what you can do with au2mator itself. So that was just the teams related. We just go through a few more things. The typical stuff is user onboarding, update user properties. So for example, user onboarding, this is a huge form. We have a different example. I want to show you those dynamic forms, what you also can build. Add user, just need to find the correct one. Is it new user? Yes, new user. So as you see, you can enter the first name and the last name. Then you select the location. These are organization units in our Active Directory. You select the manager of the new user. You select an entry date. And then you select, does it need a hardware? Yes. And then you can build dynamic forms. So related on answers in previous questions, then different questions will pop up. So, and then you can go through this. Does it need a monitor? Yes. I need more than 2. Then we need a reason. But that's the way how you can build dynamic forms as well. And then you have a lot of possibility, not only related to Teams, also to Office 365. We have a webcast next week for this. Also related to Azure services, you can create a new Azure VM, for example, or assign Microsoft Online licenses. Related to user management, what you saw in the example, add a user to group, disable a user, new users itself. Teams management we already had. Active Directory, remove user from group, enable, disable, remove users, update user properties. For example, when you take a look on this one, you see the actual values as well in the background. So if you see that's the telephone number of the selected user, I want to change it, I want to keep it. So that you have a lot of examples what you can do with au2mator. Just write your automation script, and it doesn't matter if you do it in PowerShell, Azure Automation, or Orchestrator, and build those services and provide them to your end users or to your IT staff or to your service desk. So now we head over to our presentation again. Just a note, if you have any questions, please type them into the chat window. Otherwise, if you want to talk directly with me, we can do this after the 30 minutes of the webcast. I will raise your hand, and then I will unmute your microphone, and then we can have a talk about your questions and talk about your needs. Now we will head over to, or we will continue with our webcast and our presentation. The top 12 services our customers do with au2mator is typically user onboarding, user offboarding, and change user. So that's the main service every customer, every company is facing. So they're coming a lot of users, they're just leaving a lot of users, so they need to provide a process to automate all those steps. Of course, VM provisioning, and it doesn't matter if you do it in Azure, in VMware, in Hyper-V, in Azure, in cloud, in Google, whatever. Just need to talk with your automation to those services. User leaving, server provisioning, install software, SCOM task, grant access, to request access to any resources, and so on. That's a lot of examples. So that's a few of our customers all around the globe. So those are happy to use au2mator. Now we talk about the license. So in our opinion, we made a very simple licensing. We have 4 packages. All of them have the same possibilities, the same functions. It is just related to your amount of Active Directory users in your Active Directory. So just count those users and count all Active Directory users, and then related to those numbers, you need to choose the license. Everything else is the same. The function, the possibilities, everything is the same. Just it's just packaged around your Active Directory users. So related to your amount of users, you have to pay the initial license cost once, and beginning of the second year, there is the 20% maintenance per year. You will not be forced to pay the maintenance, but I would recommend to use it or to have it, because with maintenance you get all the new releases. Right now we try to get new releases out each quarter, so 4 times a year, to provide new releases to our customers. And those releases are not only bug fixes or some features. We highly interact with our customers. If they have any feature requests, we take them and we try to implement those, if they make sense, of course, to the next release or to the upcoming releases. So if you're a customer and if you see, hey, that would be a feature where I can get help, I can use it, and it makes sense, then we are trying to put that feature very fast into the release. So we try to work very close to our customers. And then as a note, you also need a SQL server in the background. So the database of au2mator will be stored in a SQL database. So please make sure that you have a shared SQL server in your environment where this can be stored. You can also use a SQL Express. We do not need any much resources on this. It is very light and fast solution. So you do not need to buy an additional SQL license. You can use the free one, the Express version, or a shared instance in your environment. We did a return of investment calculation for some of our customers, but at least with each of our licenses. In this example, we took the rookie license for a customer with 1,800 users, and those are real life numbers. So that's nothing we thought that looked nice. Those real life numbers, and for each license is nearly the same. So in this example, a customer with 1,800 users, he does need the rookie license, so the second lowest license. And we implemented 3 services at the beginning. It was user onboarding, passive reset, and out of office reply. The initial cost in the first year, the license, 4,000 euros, and then the consulting, the writing the scripts. So we calculated 24 hours for the user onboarding, 4 and 4 hours for the out of office reply. We summed this up around 8,800 euros at the beginning, first year. At the other hand, the savings related to that the user onboarding happens around 10 times a month, and it took the customer 1.5 hours each for each user 10 times a month. So also for the other services, we summed this up for nearly 250 hours saved in the first year with only those 3 services. And calculated by an IT employee, we saved 1.5 months in the first year. So this made up 9,000 euro. So if you remember, we had 8,800 euros against 9,000 euros. So the return of investment has made before the end of the first year. And of course, if you do more services, the quicker the return of investment will come. We have one customer that did around 50 plus service in the first half year. So that's a different page, but usually it's a little bit not that fast. So, but the return of investment will be here at least at the end of the first year. So what's next? If you liked what you saw, maybe you have to convince your team leader, your supervisor, your CEO, your CIO, or your C anything to get an au2mator license. If you want to get those licenses, you can go to our partners, or you can get them directly from au2mator. We have a shop. You can directly send us an email or directly from our shop, get the license, and then you can go. If you need help for the automation workflow for consulting, of course, you can do this by yourself. If you have resources and the talents to do your automation, of course, do it yourself or ask one of our partners. Or, of course, you can also ask us. We also are happy to assist you with our premier services, with the automation, with our consulting, and to help you make the best out of your license and your self-service and automation. Some last words. If you liked what you saw, you can download our community release for free. So go to au2mator.com, free download. The only thing, it is limited to 2 services, so there's no time limit. You can do and play around as long as you like. It is only limited to 2 services. Also see our GitHub repository at github.com au2mator. And if you want to see the recording, if you want to show it to a colleague, or you want to see our past events or our future events, go to au2mator.com events and sign up or see the recordings of the last webcasts. So this is it. If you have any questions, we will finish the recording right now. If there are no questions in the chat, I will finish the recording, and if you like, raise your hand and we can unmute your microphone and then we can have a talk. So thanks for your time, enjoy your weekend, and bye-bye.